Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Love Kind Good, where I talk about my life and my journey on the pursuit of happiness. And this week, it's the week of Christmas. I'm actually recording on Saturday the 28th. And this week's video, I want to talk about the greatest gift that I have given someone or they have given me, and that is the gift of letting go. And I will tell you a story that I experienced this Christmas that gave me a lesson in that. I have been so you know now that I am newly single as of this summer. Have gone through a divorce, and I've been seeing someone over the last few weeks, and it's a little longer, and there's more to the story than just that, but we'll go with a few weeks. And me and that person have gotten really close, and so we had agreed to spend Christmas together. Both of us were going to be alone. He without his family, and me in Mexico without my family. And so we had agreed to this kind of special, like, do it together and make the most of the situation kind of thing. And if we back up a little bit more, the person I'm referring to had told me that they weren't necessarily capable of having a relationship. And I am a person who leads with love. I love very deeply and very emotionally, and I know that that's not a bad thing. However, I do know that there needs to be limits on who you give your love to and how you share your love. And that is part of what I've learned through this process, this season. But we had been going back and forth regarding this kind of topic about, should we have a relationship, should we not? And I don't exactly understand the full logic behind their reason for not having a relationship. But they've explained it to me, and I sort of get the gist. I guess I understand. The point is that they don't want to have a relationship. That's the point. And then the lesson for me is how to navigate giving my love to that person while knowing that there's not a possibility of a relationship. And for me, that has been the more difficult lesson to learn. I've had to learn how to pull back on my emotions and try to set a healthy boundary. I have not upheld those boundaries very well, and that is definitely something that I have to work on. So the story is, we'd been going back and forth. We agreed to do Christmas together. And on Christmas Eve, I woke up and I had I'm a very intuitive person. And I had this very strong intuition that I needed to leave Mexico. And so it was when I had this kind of intuition or this intuitive feeling, I remember looking at the clock and it was 11:11. And I contacted my girlfriend and I was like, oh my God, I have this feeling, I've got this sign. And she was like, okay, well, maybe you should look into that, pray, meditate about it, and kind of feel into that feeling. And that's what I had done. I did do that, and I sat with it, and then I was having lunch, and again, I looked at the clock and it was 1:11. And so I'm getting these signs and this feeling. And so I happened to pull up the app for my airline. And I had a return ticket already scheduled for January 9th, which, to be honest, I had thought that I would be changing that to like later in February because my ex-husband says that he's not coming down to the house until later in February. So I had actually thought that I would be in Mexico through that time or longer. And for some reason, I pulled up the app for the airline and I clicked on the date of the 26th. I don't know why, but I clicked on it, and then I had this thought. I was like, God, that feels like, and it showed $0 to change my flight, which is crazy to think that it was like a day and a half of the flight. The flight would be like in a day and a half. So to change it that soon and have $0 was kind of incredible. So then I kind of was like, is this too soon to leave? Like, does this feel rushed? Should I sit with this for a while? And I clicked on the other dates around it, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all through the new year. And they were all like $300 to $800 to change the flight. And I was like, wow, I was like, maybe I need to listen to that. And I did. I ended up booking a flight for the 26th that left at 8 a.m. And so Christmas Eve, this is happening on Christmas Eve. He comes over that evening. I had gone to the grocery store, so we were going to, in Mexico, you celebrate Christmas on Christmas Eve at midnight, going into Christmas Day. And so he came over, it was a great evening. So he came over, we lounged around, and then we ended up walking down one of the main streets in Merida, Mexico. And I've talked about this before, but they just do an incredible job with the Christmas lights, the festivity of it all, and it's got a very lively vibe to it. So we do that, and then we come back to the house, and like around 10 p.m. we start cooking, and then around midnight we open gifts, and we just have a lovely evening. It was not hectic, it was not stressful, and it was lovely. There's a lot of love and affection and conversation. And so, and I had not told him that I had booked this return ticket. I knew that there was probably going to be a little bit of an emotional reaction, and I didn't quite know how to handle that. And so I decided to not say a word about it. So we have a lovely evening. We go to bed like around 2 or 3 in the morning, I'm not exactly sure. And then when we woke up, we had breakfast, just a very chill Christmas morning. We spoke to our families, and then like in the evening, I think it was around maybe 5 p.m., I decided to tell them. And so I told him, and I'd kind of prepared us for it, because days prior I had mentioned, like, Christmas is our last kind of thing that we have planned, and we can't continue to do this back and forth. Are we a couple? Are we not a couple? And you keep telling me we're not a couple, so I need to recognize that. So I told him. He got emotional, which kind of hurt me a little bit, because he is the one that is saying he can't have a relationship. And so it was kind of hurtful, because if he were willing to work on a relationship, or just give something towards it, then I I could do that, but he didn't. And um, I have done a lot of work on myself since my divorce, leaning into what do I want, what do I need, how do I want to receive it. And so, um, I had been clear about what I wanted. And to be honest, he has been clear about what he wants as well. What he wants. I guess you could say what he wants. He doesn't want a relationship. So he's been clear about that. But we both have gone with this back and forth. Like, one of us will end it, and then a few days later we'll have this conversation where we miss each other, and then, the whole back and forth. And it became such a process, and an emotional tug of war between each other. And I started to realize that I was putting forth more effort than I was receiving back. It was kind of like he was enjoying having a relationship with me without the commitment that I was looking for. And so I knew Christmas was the last event that we had planned. And we had a lovely Christmas. It's kind of weird to think that we had one of the happiest and saddest Christmases. I had one of the happiest and saddest Christmases, I guess, just because I knew that I was leaving. And I was leaving for my own well-being. I needed to detach myself from the situation. And so I came back to the States, and I'm here in my house in Charlotte. And I'm realizing now in retrospection that this Christmas has given me one of the greatest gifts. I've had to let him go. And I didn't want to. It wasn't an easy decision, because I do love him. He's a mirror reflection of my energy. And so when I'm in his presence, the energy that I receive from him is, it's an incredible experience. I've gone on dates with other people, and in fact, I've gone on dates with some people multiple times, and I've not had that same experience. I've spoken with other people, my therapist and some friends, about it, and they have told me that, it's sometimes common for people to come in your life who are mirror reflection of your energy, so that you can see your light again. And, if that's one of the gifts that I have received from him, then it's one of the greatest gifts as well. But unfortunately, love and a reflection of your own energy isn't always enough. And so perhaps that was his purpose in being in my life, was to show me my light and guide me towards seeing it more, seeing it better. Coming out of my divorce, I was in a very dark place, and this person helped me a lot, just from friendship, talking with me, affection, love, but there comes a time when, if a relationship, a friendship, or a romantic relationship just isn't working any longer, or isn't satisfying your needs, then you have to eventually make the decision to step away, for your own good and growth. Perhaps that's the soul contract with him, was just to reawaken my soul to my light and my energy. And maybe there's something different down the road that I am making room for. I know there's something down the road that I'm making room for. And so part of my journey is realizing that and recognizing that in myself and learning to lean into my intuition and listen to myself, trust myself better and trust the process. And, so even though this has not been a typical Christmas at all, in fact, it's been one of the most unusual, happiest, loving, saddest Christmases I've had. But I have a lot of support. And he's a lovely person. And so I know that the work that he has to do is deep and he is on his own journey. And I am fully supportive of him exploring his, the path that he needs to take. And I only want the best for him. And so I hope that he is able to work through whatever it is that he has to work through. I have not ruled out a future connection with him. However, right now, for my own sanity, for my own energetic connections, I've had to detach from him just so that way I can fully grow and step into who I'm supposed to be. So this Christmas is different, and I appreciate you watching the video. I hope that you've gotten something out of the video. The lesson is, to the greatest gift you can give someone is to let them go. And that is what I have done. I have released him so that he can fully explore his recovery and his healing. And that's my gift to him. He knows how much I love him, and I know how much he loves me. It's just that right now is not our time. And so with that, I hope you all had a Merry Christmas, if that's what you celebrate, or Happy Holidays. And I wish you all a wonderful New Year's. And with that, take care and lead with love. It's the greatest human emotion we have.